Hello, I'm Liam.Garden and welcome to my video on spring colour. With the rivers in flood and lawns and flower beds saturated with water, today seems a good day to step back and think about planting. This video is an introduction to the different types of plants that provide spring colour, like shrubs, bulbs, trees and herbaceous perennials. And then later in the video, it looks at how to use these plants in a garden. For example, for early or late spring colour, containers, shade, as well as using for layered planting in sunny borders. I hope the video is useful for anyone looking for planting ideas for spring colour in their garden or allotment, or just as a guide to help identify and enjoy the colours of spring. So let's get started. But before I do, just a quick comment that I plan to regularly update this video, but YouTube does not currently allow this without posting a new video. So if you'd like to see the latest version of the video, please see the video description where I'll post a link, or visit my website, Liam.Garden. You may also like to get my app called myPlants.app. Getting the app really helps to support the channel, allowing me to create more videos like this one. It also contains more information on the plants covered in the video. Please see the link in the description. One of the easiest and low maintenance ways of achieving spring colour in a garden is by planting perennial woody shrubs that will flower year after year, often for 2 to 3 weeks. If space allows, planting 2 or 3 shrubs together can create a wall of colour, and in the largest gardens, the impact of a group planting can be dramatic. In smaller gardens, having a selection of different shrubs with different flowering times, with space between them for plants providing interest in other seasons, may be preferable as a way of achieving all year round interest in a garden. But let's start with azaleas. Azaleas are a subspecies of rhododendron and are generally smaller in size and therefore more garden friendly. They come in many colours, but a key planting requirement is acid soil. Rhododendrons are magnificent in bloom and commonly are large shrubs or trees, although innovation has led to container-sized plants. In their preferred conditions, they can be invasive, but in my view, they are a great plant to visit in someone else's garden, but not one to enjoy in my garden. Camellias have beautiful flowers when in season, and attractive glossy evergreen leaves when not. They are hardy plants and thrive in shade, and gardens with a northerly aspect. Ceanothus stand out for their distinctive blue flowers in spring. I see them often in front gardens where I live. It thrives in a sunny position. Choisya tenata or Mexican orange is another popular plant. I see it in more than half the gardens I work in. It can be covered in scented flowers in spring, and thanks to a warming climate, often repeat flowers through summer and autumn. Forsythias are covered in bright yellow flowers in spring, and they are commonly seen. When out of flower, they are not particularly attractive, and are often pruned after flowering to stop them growing too large. Syringa or lilac are one of my favourite spring flowering shrubs. I have a couple in my garden, and I really look forward to seeing their spring blossom. The scented flowers are quite small, but produced in great number. Wisteria are amazing climbing plants that can cover the side of a house, producing long dangling flower heads, and are a truly beautiful sight. Like rhododendron, I like to visit these plants rather than own one. In the right conditions, they need very assertive pruning, as left unkept, they can pull down walls and fences with their weight and climb into fascias and roof spaces. Spring blossom on trees is another great way of achieving spring colour with little maintenance. Starting with ornamental trees, meaning trees that blossom but don't go on to produce edible fruit. Magnolia are magnificent trees that have attractive leaves when not in flower, but in spring look beautiful. Like azaleas and rhododendrons, they like acid soil. They can grow large too, but there are now smaller cultivars and dwarf plants that are more garden friendly. Prunus, or ornamental cherry trees, produce arguably the most beautiful blossom of all in spring. One tree is sufficient for a breathtaking display, but in large gardens they can be planted to line a border or along driveway. I think Cercis silicastrum, or the Judas tree, is particularly pretty. Often grown as a single specimen, it combines interesting heart-shaped leaves with very attractive pink flowers in spring. And fruit trees are another way of introducing blossom into a garden, with spring flowering vital for pollination and fruiting. The big advantage of growing these for spring colour is that they are followed later in the season by edible fruit. A second advantage, at least where I live, is that they attract and feed birds. Not so good if you want to eat the fruit, but where I live, fruit trees act like a magnet for parakeets, and birds are also colourful. Perhaps a relatively overlooked choice for spring colour are a number of long-lived herbaceous perennials and herbaceous biennials that grow one year and flower the next before dying. These are often low-growing plants, sometimes suitable for ground cover, that have pretty flowers in spring. Here are a few examples. Spring flowering anemones are low-growing plants that are good for ground cover and naturalise well under deciduous trees. Anemone blanda produces purple and yellow flowers of a good size. I am fond of Aquilegia vulgaris or columbine, as I think it has really pretty scallop-shaped leaves and bell-shaped flowers in purple or white. Armeria maritima is a plant I see often. It's a low-growing plant that likes full sun and a free-draining soil, producing bell-shaped flower clusters in pink or white. Convallaria majalis, or lily of the valley, is a woodland plant that thrives in shade and produces small white bell-shaped flowers in late spring. There are many cultivars of erysimum or wallflowers. In a sunny spot in a garden, erysimum bowers mauve can flower from the spring and continue all summer long. Lunaria annua, or honesty, is one of my favourite spring flowers. It's a biennial, flowering in its second year before going on to produce round, papery transparent seed heads. I love the upright stems displaying brightly pink-coloured flowers. Hesperus matronalis, I think, goes well with Lunaria. It's another late spring flowering plant with pretty white flowers. Primula vulgaris, or primroses, are a great spring plant for a shady area of a garden. In the right conditions, they grow strongly and can be divided for more plants and also self-seed freely. And finally in this section is Myosotis sylvatica, or forget-me-not, a biennial that self-seeds itself round the shady areas of a garden, producing a great display of masses of small blue flowers in late spring. But probably the most famous of all spring flowering plants are bulbs. Many bulbs can be naturalised in gardens, coming back every year, although some, like many cultivars of tulips, decline in vigour. Camassia is increasing in popularity, but still not widely seen. They like full sun and moisture, and in these conditions produce tall blue flower spars in late spring. Low-growing crocus is one of the earliest spring bulbs. It's great for naturalising under trees. Petals are typically white to purple, but there are yellow and orange cultivars too. Fritillaria imperialis, or crown imperial, grows from big bulbs almost tennis ball size. Whilst relatively expensive to buy, the flower heads are large and distinctive. It needs a sunny aspect. Hyacinths are a highly scented flower and a popular choice for this reason. They flower relatively early in the season, and colours include white, pinks and purples. Hyacinthoids non-scripta, or bluebells, are a woodland flower that love a shady position and a rich soil under deciduous trees. En masse, they can produce a stunning effect, and I personally seek out places to see them. Muscari armeniacum, or grape hyacinth, have interesting grape-like flower clusters on erect stems. I think they are particularly attractive when grown in small clumps. Narcissus, or daffodils, are famous for spring flowering. I love to see the traditional yellow flowers lining green spaces, but in ornamental gardens, I also really like to see many different cultivars and colourways with orange or white petals and different coloured flower trumpets. Scilla or glory of the snow, are an early flowering bulb that loves full sun, but dislikes heavy and wet soils. Tulips are arguably the most decorative of all flowering bulbs, with long stems and large flower heads, coming in a wide range of colours. A sun-loving bulb. An ambition of mine is to visit the tulip-growing fields in the Netherlands. I've heard these are a stunning sight to see. With so much choice for spring colour, I think it can be easy to be overwhelmed. So the final section of the video looks at how these spring flowering plants can be used, either to extend the growing season or for different growing positions in a garden. In a small to medium-sized garden, it's common to see a tree or two, a few shrubs, a shady border and a sunny border, and then some space for pots. A large garden offers plenty of opportunity to do more, but even in the small list of spaces, pots and containers provide a great opportunity for colour. Personally, I like to aim for a long flowering season, and that means starting early in spring and then selecting plants to carry the colour on. There is more planting choices the later the season goes, so selecting a few plants to flower early in the season is really helpful. Both magnolia and ornamental cherry trees have varieties that flower early in the season. For shrubs, camellia are a classic for early spring colour. As an alternative, some cultivars of azalea also flower early. Herbaceous perennials typically flower later in spring, but anemones can be a good choice for early colour. But perhaps the biggest impact of all comes from bulbs. Low-growing crocus is a great choice for early colour, as are hyacinths and of course daffodils. For shady areas, primulas can be an excellent choice. From April onwards, there are many plants that can provide spring colour. For trees, later blossoming fruit trees have a better chance of their blossom avoiding being damaged by frost, leading to a better harvest. For shrubs, personally I love the display provided by lilac, and many of my clients enjoy choisia with their pretty flowers and scent. Three herbaceous perennials I really like for late spring colour are Aquilegia vulgaris, Erysimum and Lunaria annua. And thinking about bulbs, tulips are a great way of extending the season, and even some early flowering alliums too. Containers are an excellent way of enjoying spring colour. Bulbs can be planted in layers to extend the growing season. I've had success by planting Iris reticulata, crocus, daffodils and tulips in the same container. As an edible option, chives can make a beautiful display in late spring that continues on to early summer. Spring is a great time to enjoy colour in shady areas, especially in areas of a garden usually shaded by deciduous trees when they are in leaf. Low-growing Ajuga reptans, anemones, camellias, and in particular primroses thrive in shady places. And to maximise space in a garden, it's also worth considering spring plants that will not compete with summer flowering herbaceous perennials. Mid and late summer flowering plants like echinaceas, rudbeckia and dahlias all die back in winter, and whilst they are dormant in spring, they can be interplanted with spring flowering plants. Spring bulbs and herbaceous plants like Aquilegia vulgaris and Lunaria annua can be planted in the same bed. That way, colour can continue from early spring through summer. And that's it. I hope you liked the video and that it contained planting ideas that you may like to try at home or simply look out for when visiting gardens in spring. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know by liking the video or leaving a comment. It would be great to hear from you and what plants you enjoy for spring colour. To find more information on the plants mentioned in the video and other plants too, see myPlants.app. The plants are organised into sections like winter colour, plants good for shade or tolerant of clay soil and things like that, as I found this the most helpful way of finding plants for my work as a gardener.